Hello and welcome to Modelling Misadventures. Now today we're going to carry on with the 3D printed model of Thunderbird 4. Now the part we've got up to is where I'm going to have to start getting these parts ready for painting. And you could just print these parts in a particular colour filament and leave it at that, but you don't get a really nice finish. And just to give you an example of that, this is a part that's come straight off the printer, and you can see there are lots of little lines on it. It's not very smooth. It's quite shiny. Now this is the back of Thunderbird 4, which I've actually sanded, and you can see I've sanded off all the print lines and made it much smoother. Same with this part here. I think you can see it's quite shiny, and it's got all these little marks on it here, and I've sanded this side down and those lines have now gone. So this is another part that I've already sanded. So it's taking a little bit of time to sand these parts, but when they're all sanded, I'm then just going to start painting them, first of all with a primer. So off to the sanding, and I'll be back soon. So I've finished sanding all the parts, and now I've got to figure out how I'm going to paint this and put this thing together. Now, I know I'm going to have to paint the inside of the cockpit first before I finish the exterior painting. So that needs to be done. I'm also just going to glue a few of the parts together to get them in a better format for painting. So those are going to be the next two jobs that we've got to do. This is the base of the rear section. It's got these 4 indentations in it. I'm just going to glue into there these little discs. And then we can put the back of Thunderbird 4 on top. And next we can glue this bit on. Now I'm just going to join these side thrusters together using this little joining piece that I made up. Next we can just put these on the side here, again using those aligning sockets. So that went together really easily, really nicely. All the parts aligned perfectly. So that is the rear end, and then this part here is just going to go on there, but I'm not going to glue that on until I've done something with the interior. But you can see what it's going to look like. It's looking pretty good, isn't it? Now it's time to deal with the slots for the letters. This is a common technique that 3D print designers use to make it easier to put lettering on a part or a model. But I don't like this, doesn't give me the sort of finish that I want. So I'm going to fill these in. Now, the kit does come with little letters that you could print in a different colour and put into those slots. But again, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to use these letters to fill the holes in. Then I'm going to sand it all down, and then I'm going to paint it and put letters on with vinyl. Now you can see here one of the problems with this technique is that you don't get a perfect fit for these letters. They're sitting a bit proud. So I'm actually going to put a little bit of filler around them and then sand them smooth. So I'm going to use some of this plastic putty. So I've put these letters in and filled them around the edges and they look a bit of a mess. But anyway, I'm going to go and sand them down and hopefully they'll disappear. So I've got these letters filled in and sanded down and they look pretty good, but we won't know for sure until we put some primer on. So that's the next step. Well, this model is now covered in primer filler, and I've sanded it smooth and it's getting pretty close now to being ready for the exterior colour. But before we do that, as I said, I need to finish off the inside of the cabin. So for now, that's where I'm going to leave this video. In the next time, it'll all be about interior details. But for now, I'll say goodbye and see you next time on Modelling Misadventures.